put it too far to get the both of us in there.
Yeah,
It's not going to pick up. I tried doing it that way as well. It just didn't go very well. All right, what is your name and where are you from?
You recording?
Yeah.
My name's Avery Pratt. I'm from Lower Manhattan.
Okay.
Born and raised, yeah.
All right. True blue New Yorker.
Yeah.
Now, what can you tell me? What is the difference between Manhattan and the other boroughs? Because I feel like sometimes it's like almost a different country.
Yeah. Well,
Some people, they're in the Bronx and they never leave the Bronx.
right. It's an interesting question because my family is sort of very like Manhattan centric, I'd say.
Uh-huh.
And throughout my whole life, like I lived in Manhattan and I thought that Manhattan was like the epitome of like, New York and living in this big city. But it was later in, about I'd say like teenage years, I started to sort of just broaden my like perspective in life. And I now go to the Bronx High School of Science.
Oh, wow.
So I, have this massive commute every day, like, during school. And I just met some of the, most like eye-opening people of my entire life. And I sort of got exposed to so much more of like a rich variety of people and ideas and this exchange of like this discourse that I really just like love in my life.
It broadened your horizons.
Yeah.
Now, you said you go to Bronx Science.
Yes.
So I assume you're like a good student.
But,
What is the secret to being a good student? Because a lot of people, they're bad students. They want to know how to become a better student.
Right.
What kind of tip do you have for
to
them?
be fully honest, I don't really think that there is such a thing as a good student and a bad student. But I realized, for example, in, let's say, elementary school, middle school, I had no care whatsoever. Obviously, as a kid, you're not supposed to have all these concerns and these things that, you're constantly occupied with. But I realized that the second I started to sort of focus on the minute details of my schedule and all like the individual like things I could do to get ahead, I just took opportunities and I realized that just being attentive and like having a passion to like, just learn more things and retain more information and like have a more nuanced mindset, that like put me in a position where I had more of like a care to learn and like to study and stuff like that.
So you challenge yourself.
Yeah.
What are some of your strengths and weaknesses?
Strengths and weaknesses. I would say, to start with weaknesses, I would probably say that as a person, I'm very, I don't know, I guess anxious is the right word. There's always like an inner monologue, if you will, about like how I believe that my actions will be perceived by others, and it's hard for me to sort of act like rationally and something in a way that's real to myself when I'm constantly worried about how others will see those actions or what I'm saying. And I think that anxiety and that feeling of not being able to sleep at night over the most insignificant aspects of my life, I would say is my weakness. And as far as strengths go, I hope, you'd have to ask my friends, but I hope that I'm supportive and a good friend to them.
Now, you said you're a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Can you do a New York accent?
Oh, welcome to New York. We got everything you need. We got pizza, we got bagels, eh?
I like that. Not everyone can do it, but you were able to do that
I'm glad.
very well. Now, where were you coming from before you came to this park?
I was honestly just wondering.
You were just wandering in the Lower Manhattan?
Yeah.
Where are you going once you leave here? Home?
Sorry?
Where are you going once you leave here?
I mean, probably just wondering.
I'm sorry?
Probably just wondering. I'm
Just
living that
you're
life
going to be
today.
wandering around in Lower Manhattan still?
I'm in a limbo state today. It's
Okay.
I wanted to just listen to some music, see the city, take some time to myself. I've got my friend here with me. We actually ran into each other randomly, so we're hanging out now. But we're probably just gonna,
You want
see
to
the
get in
sights.
on this too? Sure. Okay. Now you want to cover those questions?
I don't know, whatever you want.
Okay.
Whatever.
Oh, you're New York accent.
Do you mind New York accent? Hey, we got the pizza.
We got the pizza.
You know we do.
What? What are you doing, guys?
There are no right or wrong answers here.
Yeah.
Now, where were you coming from before you came
I would say
here?
there is. What's that?
No, him.
Oh, wait.
Where were you coming from before you came here?
We were just like kind of chilling. Not like anything too specific. Yeah.
Where are you going once you leave here?
Probably. Yeah, gonna continue just like hanging around.
Lower
wherever.
Manhattan?
Yeah, just like probably around here. He lives Lower Manhattan. I'm more of like this area in the West Village.
Now,
but yeah.
Yeah. Difference between Manhattan and the outer boroughs?
I feel like Manhattan has a lot more like To be fully honest, I can't really speak to it too much because although like I'll be in Queens sometimes to visit my dad, I don't really like engage in much of the rest of the culture of the other boroughs because I can sit here and say like Manhattan is so much more like X, Y, and Z, but really I don't know. Like my perspective is quite limited in that sense. Because I know like the other boroughs have like their culture and whatnot, except for Staten Island, fuck that. But like,
They do have some nice golf courses out there.
Yeah, that's sort of like the major component of just the term "fuck Staten Island." I'd say.
Some beaches too.
Yeah, also I'd say it contributes to that idea. But yeah.
that's just
No.
me though.
Okay. Did I ask you your strengths and weaknesses already?
My strengths and weaknesses. My strengths. I guess I can persevere with something if I'm truly passionate about it, and that brings me a lot of motivation when I decide to do that. A weakness of mine would be that I'm a big procrastinator, I would say.
Oh yeah, actually, you know what? Same.
Yeah.
Serious issue.
Do you know any New Yorkers who have left New York and where are they going?
Who left New York? I mean, my grandmother recently left New York, and she's living in California. And honestly, as far as like how I can talk on how other people like what their decisions were to leave the city, I just like could never understand because personally, until the day that I like have a fully realized life and I have like assuming that I have a family and kids, and there's a day where I reach this point of satisfaction in life. I feel like until then, the city like fills like this void in me of just I guess just my personality. I am New York City, and New York City sort of is me in a way.
How about you?
Wait, so do I know anyone who left?
And do you know anyone who's left and where are they going?
Well, I mean, I had a friend leave, but not because it's like I hate New York, but because he like had to. He lives in the Netherlands now. But yeah, to that point, I don't really know many people who like are settled here and then decide to leave because of the city. But yeah, what was the second part of that question?
Where are they going?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really have too many people who would fall into that category, I guess, that I know.
Now you said you're a hardcore New Yorker. If
I'd like
you were,
to think so.
if New York didn't exist, where would you live?
Probably Paris.
Paris? Why Paris?
There's something about Paris that I can't put my finger on.
You go there a lot?
I've been there. I wouldn't say I'd go there a lot, but something about Paris just it like grips me in a weird way. Like the architecture and like the smells and the food, all these very like specific elements of the atmosphere. Just like I'm just infatuated with.
You speak French too?
No, but I'm trying to learn. But I speak Spanish.
How about you?
Well, yeah, I've also lived here my entire life and was born and raised here. But if I would have to choose another place in the world to go to, it'd probably be Amsterdam. I visited there once. Yeah, I visited there once, and it's just like easily the most aesthetically pleasing city. Oh, Joe,
You gonna get this on the camera?
I don't know if it'll pick up in the dark
We were
though.
talking to this guy earlier.
yeah, he was like.
No, it's not showing up in the dark.
How's it going?
What's the story behind that?
Hey sir, how's it going? He's ignoring me now, of course. What is happening? It's some cultish bullshit, I'd say.
Yeah,
I asked-
they're not responding now.
I asked the guy if he was a plague doctor. He said yeah, and walked away. So I hate that guy.
You don't like him?
No.
Yeah, it seems weird.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I just ignore people like that.
I love interacting with him.
Really?
Yeah.
What about the Hare Krishnas?
Yeah, I stay away from those guys.
You know if you like interacting with people, you gotta interact with the free hugs guy. Do you have any advice for the freshmen?
For the freshmen in high school?
Yes. I'm assuming you've passed that stage.
Right, I'm in junior year right now.
Okay, so what advice do you have for them?
For freshmen, I'd probably say, I'd probably say that you're young, and I am young as well. But specifically in high school, I think your mentality shifts drastically. In middle school, you're sort of in this like transitionary phase, and in high school, you're really like able to like explore your autonomy as like a young adult, I feel. So just, you know, live while you're young, I'd say. And of course with moderation.
Advice for the freshman?
Yeah, I would echo those sentiments because it's really a matter of knowing how far you can go.
Yeah, exactly.
And knowing your boundaries
Yeah.
when you're young, so that in the future you don't make the kinds of mistakes that you'll end up regretting. So
We actually just had an example of that the other day.
well,
Well, no, oh, never mind. You didn't get
yeah.
never mind.
But yeah, it's just really important to experience life, but in a way that you can make that based on those experiences, you can make rational decisions later in your life.
Yeah, I'd say so as well.
How has peer pressure affected you?
Peer pressure? Well, okay, the first thing that I'd like to say about peer pressure is that it's not nearly as like blatant as they say it's gonna be when you're growing up. They say peer pressure is gonna be, oh, yo, you'll hit this, won't you? Oh, you'll take this sip, you won't you? It's like, it's not like that. It's more like my close friends happen to be doing this thing, and by nature of the fact that like I'm friends with them and want them to like me, then I will go participate in that thing. But like,
So they're not going to call you a square because you're not doing it?
no, in my experience at least, turning down any like anything really, you're not gonna get called a square, but it's like your personal, I guess, like mechanic to want to like show your friends that you do this thing. So generally speaking, I wish that all the decisions that I've made have been informed by what I feel that I want to do, like regardless of the context of like who I'm with or like what they're saying. I always make the decision of like, do I want to do this? Am I in a place that doing this makes sense? And then I like, you know, I base my decisions on that.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, as you said, it's really not that explicit. It's very implicit, and it's usually self-driven, I would say.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like, it's something you really won't like be aware of in the moment. Hey, no, to be fair, actually you might be aware of it in the moment, but you usually like give in. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you don't have a strong sense of like I guess like personal like boundary, you might just like give in much easier.
Now, you come to this park often?
I come to this park often. There's this I'd say atmosphere that it feels very like quintessential in New York to me, because you have like this exchange of like, I don't really know. It's just like there's a variety of age groups and cultures, and it's just a lot of fun to, you know. I like to skate nowadays, so I like to, you know, watch the skaters here in the fountain, and I always meet some interesting people. I mean, here we are doing this interview. I never would have, you know, seen this type of thing down by where I live.
What is the strangest thing you've heard or seen here in this park, other than that guy coming through here swearing?
Something I've heard or seen. I mean, I don't have to think about that. I've seen some pretty crazy things here.
Anyone try to get aggressive with you, try to scam you, hustle you, try to sell you dope?
We once had somebody like pretty adamantly try and sell us edibles, but we were just like no, and they walked away. But that wasn't, I'd say, like by any means like a scary experience. It was just kind of funny. But
I had another skater
I
here
don't know.
before I was interviewing
Yeah.
him. He said that some older skaters will come here, and he said they try to pick up on young girls.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's just.
No, no. It's the everyday stuff. It's pickpockets and like those people that steal the street performers' money and then they go chasing after them.
Oh, you see
nothing
that?
really
That's
that
a story right there.
bad. I mean, it's more of like I'd say like a. It happens. It's not much of a story.
You want to check out the channel's name?
Yeah, sure.
It's called Common Denominator NY.
Common denominator.
Yeah, it's on YouTube and Instagram.
How many subscribers you got
I don't have very many. I think I have 70.
on the grind?
So not very
Can
many.
I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I don't really have a reason, but I used to film myself with a stick. And then I noticed that people would run into the shot.
Yeah.
So I figured that people want to be filmed.
Right.
So I turned it around.
That's a good idea.
And then I started filming people, and they really got into it.
Also, the
So I
channel
was
name
like,
is sick.
cool. And then also we're living in a time of a pandemic,
Right.
and people aren't connecting quite the way they used to.
Right.
So I'm hoping that people can connect this way as well, because a lot of people who lock themselves in their house are probably wondering what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So if they watch these videos, they'll be like, oh yeah, so that's what people are doing. That's what they're thinking. And it's kind of like a shared experience as well.
This is a really good idea.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm
Okay.
also gonna interview for you.
All right, man. Thank you. Yep. Take your time. Yeah.
Still leave, but
Yeah,
I'm
we'll be
guessing
here.
ahead of a conversation.
Okay. And also,
Yeah, it's
uh,
okay, too. He's gonna walk around looking for weed. I respect it, but that guy's
they
like,
usually come to you, don't they?
he's on a mission. That guy's, he's gonna go around asking people for weed.
Wait, is he asking for weed or
Yeah.
is he
He's
trying to
just
sell?
going around asking people if they sell weed.
I think he's buying them.
That's such like a weird strategy. Just like walking around like, yo, do you sell weed? He's like, no.
Bro, that's like.
He's got a journey ahead of him.
And I think like one of the things that you'll notice about my videos is kind of like a high school yearbook almost.
Oh, that's interesting.
But except in pictures, it's going to be in video format.
Right.
And people kind of share their lives. Now, weirdest thing for you?
Like in his park?
Yeah.
I've lived here like for around like 14 years now.
Yeah.
Or no, like 13 years. But like I've been to this park like so many times I don't know if I could like.
You've been
really-
desensitized.
Yeah, exactly.
All the weirdos
Yeah,
coming up to
I
you.
think that's actually the best way to put the fact that like I didn't think that the guy stealing the money was that like important.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Because it's
very
just, like,
weird
one
for
of the
most
things that
people.
happens. But I guess recently one of the weirdest things that have happened was there was a anti-mask and like anti-lockdown rally like literally right here in the park. And I had a whole debate with this guy for like 15 minutes for however long it was. And that was just like super weird because it was odd to see that type of sentiment being brewed like right here in this place that I know is very, you know, like heavily like partisan in that sense. So it was weird to see like a bucking of that in that sense.
There's currently a I'd say about 17-year-old girl over there yelling, "I can't feel pain, I'm immortal." That's pretty cool.
That's fine.
So,
Wait, so you were for the mask and they were against the mask?
Yeah.
Is that how it
Like,
works?
they all didn't have any masks on, and they had this whole like thing saying like, you know, Bill Gates controls everything. You know, the classic, the whole thing.
There's a lot of political extremism in this park as well. And when they come, everybody else leaves.
Yeah.
Once they leave, everybody else comes back. That's what I've noticed.
That makes sense.
All right, next question. Game changers. Have you had any game changers in your life? Anything that happened to you that makes you want to change the way you live your life?
I would
If not,
say-
just skip it.
Okay, game changers. I recently had a giant shift in mentality, but I'm trying to remember what like the major inciting event was. I would say honestly, the domestic terrorists that are currently, but that are, you know, just sort of
They stormed the White House, or
The Capitol.
storming
yeah.
the Capitol. I'd say that was a game changer for me because there are so many like parallels that we're seeing in our contemporary America to like some of the most turbulent eras of like the 1870s when like the Ku Klux Klan like ran rampant and like Rutherford B. Hayes won the election at the cost of like repealing troops from the South, allowing them to like break down Reconstruction. Like the fact that we're seeing history repeat itself, but specifically to an era where like just the outright massacre of black people was considered like an okay like aspect of society, that's what really scares me. And I would say that I had a major shift in my mentality since then, 2 days ago, in just the realization that we're, I guess, just how fearful I am of the state of our country at the moment.
yeah, some people, they go into survival mode. They buy all this gear, and
Right.
you know, for the end of the day. I mean, the end of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Scary.
Sort of similarly, I'd say Trump's like whole denial of the election results
Yeah.
since he lost has been kind of like a book being turned on like kind of all of the the fundamentals of like American society.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like it's really never been the case that there's been this much like just outright denialism that's been rampant. Like even just like a few days ago, there was this like Pennsylvania like state senator who lost Pennsylvania state senator who lost his election, and he's like outright refusing to concede. And it's like, okay, you can see like the parallels between one person doing this because he's like super butthurt about losing like a democratically like operated election, that being Trump, and then that just like seeping into everyone who even like remotely follows him. So like that kind of sets a very unstable precedent for the future, I would say.
Really quickly, he's back. Excuse me, sir. Would you like to come do an interview real quick? Are you sure? Come on. You look like a super interesting guy. Come on. You can spare like 2 minutes. Oh my god.
Bro, is he farming more guys to come back with?
Come on.
With a lantern?
That guy actually sucks.
He looks like someone who wants people to acknowledge him,
Yeah,
but at
right?
the same time, he doesn't want to engage with other people.
I'm not a fan of that guy. I've got to say.
Yeah.
He's 2 for 2 at the moment.
Yeah, it's if you're doing like a fucking like show and just run away with him and like clapping.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Now you said that there's a lot of political changes going on.
Yeah.
Do you think like it's going to get better or worse?
I mean, I'd say that this is the first
Did
time.
you find what you're looking for?
You did?
I mean, I got some shitty ass fucking weed. Man.
You got actual weed though? Let's see it. You got a little dime bag?
How can you tell the quality? Bro?
You look at it, there's THC crystals on it, and so there's a lot of crystals, and there's more THC, which is the psychoactive element you use.
Did he pay anything?
Yeah, I paid $10 for that.
Are you gonna smoke it?
No, I just bought weed.
No, I'm saying like right now.
No, I'm not, I don't have a quota.
Are you not scared of like it being like whatever, like K2 or Spice, whatever?
K2 or Spice?
You just like bought it in the middle of Washington Square Park. I feel like that's a little bit sus, no?
K2 maybe, but Spice is more of a UK thing.
Really?
For sure, for sure.
I thought it was the same thing.
No. Spice originated in the UK. They were selling it out of. It was originally not even. It was synthetic THC. It wasn't the same compound, so it was legal.
Right.
They were selling it out of smoke shops in the UK.
Yeah.
And then they changed they made it illegal in the UK, and they just slightly changed the chemical compound and redistributed it to make it legal again. And so then they put a blanket ban on all narcotics except for specifically food.
Really? Like
Yeah.
FDA or whatever.
Yeah. Also, K2 doesn't look like weed. Like people who don't know what weed looks like
Yeah.
think K2 looks like weed. It's different.
Really?
It's like a green powder. It doesn't have the crystals out.
Damn, I had no idea. Well, that's really good to know.
Yeah, man. If you ever smoke weed, which if you plan on drinking, and not smoking weed, switch that.
No, yeah, don't worry. We've passed that crossroads.
Yeah, drinking is so fucking. First off, it makes you feel like so much less good than weed. Like it gives you more dopamine in your brain. It's chemically addictive, which means you can actually get addicted to it, while weed isn't. It's fucking cheap. You
Yeah,
can
it's cheap
kill
as a-
yourself with $30 if you buy alcohol.
Yeah,
You know how much marijuana it takes you to kill yourself?
infinite.
It's like
You
600
fucking
bitches.
can't kill yourself with
Yeah.
marijuana. You would pass out before you can smoke enough marijuana to even mildly hurt you.
Right, and also like the few cases that we've had so far of like THC poisoning have been very controlled and like peculiar cases.
I'm not even sure if those are real because I've heard from a lot of studies that there have been zero THC.
Well, the only cases were like people who had like pre-existing conditions that had like internal reactions to marijuana, not like the actual
Right,
substance
it wasn't
itself.
right. It was the fault of the body.
Right.
You want to get in on this?
Come on, pull up a seat.
Yeah. Sure.
All right, I'll just pick up. Yeah, you want to get in over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, all right, I'll start with you then. You want to introduce yourself? What's your name? Where you from?
Yeah, I'm Judah. I'm from
Wait,
the
Mario Judah.
Bro, you know Adam. I knew you were Judah. I knew you
Bro.
were Judah. Bro, it's Koll.
Oh shit, bro!
I saw you the other day and I was like, I know you're Judah.
No
Oh my
way.
God, yo. It's good. I fucking did.
Small world, isn't it?
It is a small world.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
It's
now.
surprising how small like people are like, oh, small world, but it's like rural Tennessee. It
Yeah.
happens in New York. Like, what the
Exactly.
fuck?
Bro, literally his mother was dancing at my sister's Zoom mitzvah earlier today.
Chill.
What?
Oh my God.
You want to hear a big fact? There is a huge, and I mean huge, picture of Eleanor breastfeeding
Yeah, no, I
Evan
know that.
and
I know
Emma
that picture,
in my
yeah,
bed.
yeah.
It's above my parents' bed. A huge print.
Oh, above your parents' bed?
Yeah, above my
Because I
parents'
know
bed.
it's in their place.
No. It's fucking huge.
That's kind of hilarious.
It makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's terrible.
Now,
But yeah.
let me ask you this
Some
question.
great fucking content right here.
Yes, small world.
Small world.
Now, do you speak any foreign languages?
No, I am miserably failing Spanish too.
Really?
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't understand why we're still teaching languages during Zoom classes. Like,
That's a good point.
it doesn't, like, who is, when if you have the option to, you know, study a Spanish worksheet, or just Google Translate it and play Minecraft for 30
No,
minutes,
yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck are you gonna do? Like, let's
Okay.
be real here.
To be fair though, like a large component of learning language is like the ability to, or like forcing you to actually speak it with people. And that's like, in my whatever experience, because I like speak a decent amount of Spanish, I'm conversational. In my experience, like the only thing that actually got me to learn the language was like being on, just like with a Spanish speaker and just like communicating. And like on Zoom, I feel like that's possible. But when you're just like doing a worksheet, it's so bullshit.
Yeah, that's the thing is like maybe they could do language, they could teach language properly if they did it properly.
No, yeah.
But they're not. They're just like giving you bullshit worksheets that they didn't even fucking make.
No, yeah,
like I'm
exactly.
sorry, but Spanish teachers and math teachers have the easiest jobs in the fucking world.
I don't know about
Look. Not the easiest jobs in the world, but out of all of the teachers, excluding maybe the PE teacher, like it's the same worksheets. You never have to change the curriculum. With an English teacher, different ideas get introduced in class. You have to go over different shit, right? In history, people are interested in different things and they go down different paths, and you have to talk about different shit. With Spanish, you're learning the same words every year in Spanish 1. You're learning the same words and phrases and all that shit in Spanish 2. There's no flexibility with the curriculum.
That's okay. I'm receptive of like your point, but I also feel that there is no real way to like create a hierarchy of whose job is harder, because there's never like an objective scale of like how we can quantify like how good a teacher is. I feel like, and like there are certain teachers that are like better than others, but as far as like the difficulty that they have, I feel like it's very individual.
With the class, I mean, to the extent of like making work and then assigning it, that was the point of it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I totally see what you're saying.
And the other thing is that they don't even have to make the original worksheets that they use over and over again, because there's like a million of them online.
Or at least
I
some
found
that
the
choose not
answers
to.
to my Spanish test on the internet after searching once.
Yeah,
That's
that happens. That happens.
You speak any foreign languages?
I speak Hebrew.
Can you say anything cool in Hebrew?
שלום, השם שלי קול. אני לא כל כך יודע איך לדבר טוב, אבל...
Alright, calm down. He just put a hex on all of the northern hemisphere.
Exactly, yeah. Y'all are clipped, so I don't even care.
I feel like someone once introduced the idea of like speaking a new language, or the value of learning a language is like how many people in the world speak it, right? So like by that logic, the two most useful languages would be whatever, Cantonese and Spanish. Yeah. So and I thought that was really interesting. And then I looked at what it was like to learn Cantonese, and I was like, fuck no. And I took Spanish. And you know, I still feel like I can't communicate with people at all. So it's really funny how the education system works. Or I guess it doesn't work. I think there's so much wrong. I think the fact that we allow teachers to objectively grade English papers is bullshit. Like you can have you can have a rubric, and you can have certain things that you need to do in the paper in order to get the points. But if someone, the problem with English class is that there's a possibility that someone turns in a really fucking incredible fucking grad student level paper, and they get a fucking 0 because the teacher just didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem with English is that it's subjective and you're getting graded objectively.
I'd agree with that. I think that putting another like field of study I'd say that applies to is art. There are certain people who artistically express themselves in very specific ways that may not be as, you know, as like, broadly accessible to like the public. As far as like, I don't really know. As far as like the message that they're trying to convey, there are so many ways of doing it that putting like a number on a grade is really just insufficient.
And I think that's the thing, is that you have to be able to. There's like 17 people on that. Fucking ridiculous. And they're all like frustrated leftist Jews, so it's just like constantly going off with like, well, this is how this New York Times article was racist. Oh yeah, well, this is how this New York Times article was racist.
That's actually classic.
It's so classic. It's hilarious. And like, you know, my grandpa, the king of the Jews, is of course the king of the Jews. How could my grandpa not be the king of the Jews? Is just like kind of like, I don't know, he's like a sociology professor, so he just understands all of this shit on a whole other level. And like all of my grandparents, especially the ones in that chat, are like professors of essentially humanity and like prejudice. And so it's a really interesting it's a really interesting chat. It is. But forgive my ADD. Where was I?
You were talking about how to objectively grade art.
Oh, right. Well, and I think that the art teacher at my school actually does this quite well, is that you don't grade it based on, and this is why I think doing it on Zoom is so hard, is that you don't grade it based on how good it is or how well it expresses the point that it's trying to convey. Right. You grade it on how much effort the student put into it. The thing about art is that part of the process, part of the value of art is the creation of the art.
Yeah,
it's the catharsis of making something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that is really valuable, and that's really, really, really hard to grade on Zoom, because kids can just turn off their camera and, I don't know, play Minecraft for 30 minutes, and then be like, I worked really hard on my piece, and then leave the Zoom call. And so in conclusion, the pandemic sucks. Who knew?
All right, now, can you do any impressions?
Can I do any impersonations?
Yes.
Like on the fly, but
We'll do an accent.
Any cartoon characters? Kermit the Frog.
Oh,
Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck.
Oh, he's got this one tucked up his sleeve for a minute.
You might have to cut this one out of the video.
Uh-oh, this is not good science. Be careful what you do here.
Huh? My name is Mickey Mouse.
Okay, that was so understood. Okay, yeah.
You want to come into my clubhouse and touch my hot dog?
Okay, all right, yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Makes sense.
But it, I don't know. Mickey Mouse. Oh wait. La 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 la. Oh Jesus Christ. Thanks, puberty.
You gotta get into it.
We thought it was over.
NWO. Shawn Michaels. NWO, baby. Coming for you and your fucking family.
NWO. Shawn Michaels.
NWO coming for your family.
Coming for your family.
NWO, me, Joe, and Jolly Manor coming for everybody's fucking family. That anybody got something to say about my motherfucking brother Joe and Jolly Manor, we got some NWO coming for their fucking life and their whole fucking family.
Go for it, man. Have fun.
I appreciate people like that.
There's Washington. There's New York City for you right there.
Yeah.
Fucking random people saying random shit because they fucking feel like it.
I once was sitting on the 4 train, and this guy wearing like a full camo suit. Basically, like, to give you some context, like I'm like multi-ethnic. My grandfather's from the Caribbean, and like I look white. Like my skin color is white. So like, of course, I'm not gonna try and embody like black culture. Like I am what I am, despite like my ethnic background. And there was just this guy who came up to me and he was like, Whitey, I'm gonna kill your whole fucking family, Whitey. And I was like, I was just conflicted. Because like, obviously, I am white. My skin color is white. I bear the burden of all the like atrocities that has been committed on behalf of like my race, right? However, like hearing somebody just being like, Whitey, I'm gonna kill your family, and knowing that my grandfather is black and like he worked to get me where I am, like that was such a fucking morally conflicting moment for me. I don't know, it just felt odd, but it reminded me of that.
I don't know. The way that I deal with people in the street is very similar to the way that I dealt with my thankfully very brief stint with experience with bullying in middle school,
Right.
which is just hilarious. You remember the fucking "what are those" trend?
Yeah.
What are those? So as you can tell,
every single day.
every single day. As you can tell, I am a ginormous fat ass, and
Your
so
friend's back.
They're fucking back. All right, wait till they pass and we'll harass them. We'll get them out of this interview.
Oh shit, what was I talking about?
Bullying in middle school?
Oh yeah, bullying in middle school. So, I had like extra wide feet, and so I had to get special shoes
Yeah.
that were like extra wide. And the only brands that they sold those in were like Sauconys and like New Balances and shit. So every single fucking day, I would say that I would get fucking what are those for wearing like Sauconys and New Balances and shit. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And the worst thing is that the kid who was fucking what are those in me or whatever was wearing Converse, which is widely accepted at my school as
Wait,
the
where'd
like
you go again?
for middle school. I went to 89 to 89.
Oh, okay.
With Emma.
Oh, yeah.
And this was 6th grade, and so and they were wearing Converse, which is widely accepted as like the very line of like just acceptable to not get what are those.
Right. Okay.
So and this was around Hanukkah, and so I let this go on until about Hanukkah in the school year.
Yeah.
This was 6th grade, and my parents were like, "What do you want for Hanukkah?" And I was like, "I want you to pre-order me the Kyrie ones. I don't care if they don't fit. I'm wearing them to school at least one day." And they got them for me.
Yeah.
And I went into school, and the kid automatically came up to me. It was about to what are those, and then he looked down, and I looked him dead in the eyes, and I said, "What are those?"
That's actually good.
Yeah, man, I fucking roasted him. I swear to God, his shoes lit on fire. I mean, they didn't, but
Are you sure?
well, it was more like lava, but
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, I see.
So, yeah, that totally was not the point of my story. The point of my
Are you
story.
sure? What?
No, because the
I thought
point
you were
that I was trying to make was self-deprecate. When someone tries to fuck with you, just make jokes about yourself. There's nothing they can do about that.
Yeah, that's
Their
true.
whole power is that
disarming.
they're insulting you and everybody is hearing them insult you. If you insult yourself, they're jack shit. They're bullshit. No one gives a fuck about that.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. In life, I feel like.
It's a disarming tactic for sure.
I
Yeah,
think in life, though, we also have a tendency to take things too seriously.
Yeah.
I think that. I mean, I don't know. I feel that I'm 5'7" now. Beginning of quarantine, I was like 5'4". Like I grew so much over the quarantine. But before I left, I was in 10th grade, mind you, 5'4", like the shortest kid in my class. And I'd always be so distraught about how short I was, and the fact that like all my friends are like hooking up with girls, and everyone sees me as just like this kid. And I was distraught about it, but like.
And then you discovered the twink fetish.
But I just gave it thought. And I thought that every time that I like am reflecting about the fact that I am like less than other people because of my height, and that people make fun of me because of my height, like whatever.
You know,
This is the
they're
life
just
we
pissed
live.
because they're tall. Fuck those guys.
I mean that's true, but fuck them, not fuck them. Like I don't care. Like this is just the life we live, and,
Yeah, true.
and I'm like impervious to like feeling like my life is ruined over these minute things because I just am like I am here, and,
Yeah,
and that's all right.
That gets down to like my base philosophy of life, which is, I mean, I don't believe in God.
Yeah.
I'm not a spirit person or whatever. What I believe is what we know for a fact, which is that every single human being is born. They feel good emotions, they feel bad emotions, and then they die.
Mm.
So my goal, and what I think people's goals should be, is to make themselves and everyone around them feel as good as for as long as possible until they die. And so that means long term too. So like, I'm gonna like, not drop out of high school and start doing heroin because it makes me feel good. Because it'll fucking stop me from being able to be happy in the long term. I wanna finish high school, take a gap year, go to college, become a stand-up comedian, write television. Like, and obviously none of that is going to happen, but I have fucking dreams. Like,
Yeah.
come on. No. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, bring joy directly into people's lives. I want people to look at me and then smile and then stop looking at me feeling good.
Yeah.
Or feeling at least better than they fucking did when they started looking at
That's
me.
good.
It's a great philosophy.
You know what I
Just,
mean?
like,
If I can try to, just improve the vibe of the world.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, a good purpose.
And like, even if you believe in God, even
Yeah.
if you whatever, even if you follow these strict rules, you can live within those strict rules and still try to do that. You know what I mean? You can still, if someone gets up to get a glass of water, say, no, you're old, I'll go get you a glass of water.
Right.
There's a little way to like insult them and help them at the same time.
True, fuck those guys for being old.
Yeah, fuck those guys for being old. Those guys are fucking idiots. No, I mean, yeah, it takes a real kind of idiot to live to 110 years old.
That's true, yeah.
Like that, it takes like a Forrest Gump kind of idiot.
You're actually hinting if you've lived that long. It's ridiculous.
Well, no, some people.
Impersonations for you?
For me, fuck, I don't know. Do I have anything?
What was the question?
Impersonations.
Impersonate. Oh, I just realized that entire thing stemmed from the Mickey Mouse impersonation.
Wait, how did that even
I
derail?
have no fucking clue, dude.
Like, okay. Fuck, I don't know. No,
Is this your slick intention, buddy, of getting us to talk about things that are a little bit deeper than impressions?
Sometimes it just happens. Well, I think you guys are the first people to do that. Most
glad.
people, they just
Fucking,
like
we're about to blow the fuck up on
we've broken the
Common
cast.
Denominator.
yeah. Impersonations for you?
I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. If you give me one, I'll try.
What about Kermit the Frog?
Yeah, I mean, if you give me another one, I'll try.
How about, let us just say, Pee Wee Herman?
Oh, I don't even want to enter that.
This is crap.
Okay.
There was a great Pee Wee Herman, I think it was Pee Wee, who did a PSA, and he was like, "This is crack.
Yeah.
It's addictive. Don't do crack."
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. I mean, that definitely wasn't Pee Wee's. Oh, what is it? I can't remember what his voice sounds like.
I don't
But he
eat
said, "This is crack."
The only thing I remember of Pee Wee, or I rather know about Pee Wee Herman is that what was it? It was that genie who goes like,
Oh, you know what's funnier than
oh
Pee Wee
fuck,
Herman?
I'm completely forgetting. But Doom referenced it one time, and I thought that was funny. It was fuck, whatever. It'll come to me.
Bro, you know what? You know what's funnier than Pee Wee Herman?
What's that?
British Pee Wee. Fucking Mr. Bean is the
Yeah, Mr. Bean is
absolute
legendary.
shit.
Rowan Atkinson, he's fine.
Fucking absolutely fire. Oh, do you see Johnny English?
No,
yeah,
I
yeah, I
don't.
saw
But
it,
it was
I saw
good.
It's like an updated Austin Powers that isn't as good and doesn't have Mike Myers.
Right.
But it's still pretty funny.
That's cool.
And they have an actual, I think they have an actual Aston Martin. Or no, maybe they don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I remember it having a V12 engine. I don't know why. I think I was very stuck with it.
What are some good places to film in New York? These kinds of videos.
Right fucking here.
Yeah, honestly, Washington Square Park is sort of the center of it all.
This is
This is like the youth's Times Square. I feel
This
like.
is.
Yeah.
I was just about to say this. Me and my family talk about Union and Washington. It's like a New Yorker's Times Square.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also
You know?
looking like a
U-
cultural
Union,
intersection.
Union, I'd
For
say
sure.
as well. Yeah.
And Washington is in a cultural intersection since fucking decades and decades. Like
Yeah.
fucking a lot of that. I mean, people have been congregating here to exchange culture and ideas for
Yeah.
fucking years.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this isn't true, but I'm pretty fucking sure that the idea of standing up on a soapbox originated from this fucking.
Did it actually? No,
it's
it
not.
did not.
It's
Standing
not
up on a
true,
soapbox?
but it's kind of that idea.
Wasn't it like a
Let's play the
like
classic
Luther-
New York game, gun or firecracker.
was it like I thought it was like a Lutheran thing where they like stand on soapboxes and like preach like Lutheranism. I might be.
Oh
bullshitting,
no,
don't
you
worry
might be
about it.
right. I think that is where it comes from.
Don't
Well,
take anything I'm saying as fact.
New York Lutherans talk about the not existence of God and
Yeah. Really?
fucking people before marriage.
Really? I thought
I don't know,
Lutherans
dude.
on
I'm,
that-
I'm
Oh, sorry.
trying to go.
Alright.
What is Lutheran?
What is it or what is?
Isn't. I'm trying to just do the exact opposite of so fucking before marriage and not believing in God. The two things I could think of.
Lutherans? Oh, not.
Oh, no sex before.
No sex.
Right, right.
Not.
Yeah, because I was like, yo, chill, these
Do you have any special talents?
Special talent?
Yeah.
Bro, I can suck a dick mad good. No.
That's
No.
Special talent.
I've never had the chance.
Special talent.
good at there.
The thing is that I find that when you're asked about special talents, you can never think of one. It's an interesting fact of life.
Talents?
Yeah, special talents. Anything?
Uh,
Well, I see you skateboard. Anything else?
I mean, I'm ass. I'm actually dog shit. But I guess okay, like weird talent. I guess I could like.
Can you swim real fast? Anything?
Yeah, I can demonstrate.
Fast.
No, but I can like. Here, give me like a simple tune.
Oh no.
Hey, chill.
Oh,
It's
okay, for context, I don't support him doing this.
It doesn't matter. Okay, just any like simple tune. Anyway.
Dun it. Dun it. Dun it.
Dun it.
Dun it. Dun it. Dun it. Dun it. Dun it.
I don't know where that's from, but it sounds familiar.
It's from an app from a while ago. Dun it. Dun it. Dun dun. Dun it. Dun it. Dun dun.
Oh,
Yeah, you got
is
it.
that getting
That's
picked
cool.
up on the camera? Come
I hope
on
so.
now, we
I
got
hope
the
so.
tunes.
But yeah, that's something.
Cool.
Here's my special talent. My balls hang low, they wobble to and fro. I can tie them in a knot, I can tie them in a bow. I can throw them over my shoulder like a continental soldier. My balls hang low.
This is
Bro,
like a
I
rhyme
got
of
fucking
ages.
bars. Bro, drop a fucking beat. Don't.
I can drop a beat.
I can
Yo,
also drop a beat. I
no.
can beatbox, but I
This
cannot
is not-
freestyle.
no.
I cannot freestyle.
Okay,
We're not about to have this conversation
We're not
right
about
now,
to have
guys.
this.
I'm gonna take you for a walk if you don't mind. Welcome to New York City. They're having a beatbox thing over here,
People,
and I'm taking you around. Over here, you have the Arc de Triomphe. Tomorrow, it's actually France that we are in right now. And over here, we have the fountain, where in the winter season, skaters come to skate inside of. NYU kids sit around the rim. They like to watch the skaters.
and smoke weed.
Here we have NYU campus behind us,
Where all the people who smoke weed
which
come
is
from.
noted for its high tuition prices
And high marijuana consumption.
and high marijuana consumption, apparently. And this here is our wonderful interviewer. And this is New York City.
Ready for the next
What's up,
question?
guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back at it again with another common denominator NY. Today we're going to be interviewing some folks in the city in Washington Square Park and other places that people video. Oh my god, it's going to be fantastic.
Is that your
There
new
you go.
intro?
There's your new intro right there.
that's
You got to leave there you go. There's your new intro in the intro.
Thank you. I might have to put that into all the videos.
Wow, it's
Let's
all about
go.
high energy bullshit. That's what YouTube is. Well, most of YouTube, the part that is like bullshit is like high energy bullshit essentially. But there's like good parts of YouTube that are still honest and authentic. Like, do you guys watch H3 at all?
I used to.
Yeah.
His new shit is good. It's different. It's not the same. They've evolved as artists, but it's good and it's still like funny social commentary.
Yeah, I used to during my like phase of like being an edgy fucking like
Still
you're
keep
saying
going, watch it.
yeah and iDubbbz back in the day and he's back of course. No, like the iDubbbz phase when he would like say the N word and the F slur just like willy nilly, and I thought like, yo, chill. These are actually like things that are okay to say, and I wouldn't actually consider it until I was like, you know, a little bit older.
Here's the thing about iDubbbz saying
Oh my god,
Those
he's fully
things.
ignoring me now.
Yeah.
is that he tried to talk about them and made some valid points that like kept a lot of his base, but the problem is that when you say that kind of shit, no matter what your intention
influences
is,
your audience.
it influences your audience. It tells your audience it's okay to say this shit outside of the context of that I'm saying it. I'm not even saying that it was necessarily okay for him to say it in that context.
Yeah.
But it sends a message that this is a thing that is socially acceptable, which
Exactly.
it totally isn't.
It's a form of stochastic terrorism in that sense, because it'll get one person to think it's okay, which will get other people to think it's okay, and then you
Right.
just get a whole population of people that think it's like morally okay to say these types of just like genuinely harmful words, which is
But what he did say something that was powerful, which was he said that people are like holding the N-word up to this like high standard of like, oh, you really, really, really can't say this word, but all these other words you can say that you can't say. You can say them while you're saying that you can't say them. Like, for example, someone was like, he's saying the N-word and he's saying, and then she said, I mean, I'm gay, so I can
Tanamoja?
basically, yeah, Tanamo.
Right.
Tanamongoose. And still a good meme.
Yeah.
And what he said was, all of these words are oppressive to the groups that they are talking about.
Right.
So, if you don't want to offend groups of people by not saying words, don't say all of these words. And if you don't care about offending groups of people or certain groups of people, then you should equally not care about offending other groups of people.
Yeah, for sure. There's
vice versa. And I think
that applies, but like, there's always that degree of like, okay,
Right.
there's some words that are just like, you know, they have like a specific, you know,
Right,
tie
like
history to
fucking
them.
what's the term? This isn't a slur, but it's a zipperhead.
I've never heard that in my
yeah.
In
entire
I think it was in Vietnam. I might be wrong.
It was Vietnam or World War.
I think it was Japanese people.
I think it was Japanese people during World War II.
Yeah, where they got run over, and their heads would look like zippers on the ground because they got run over by the tires.
Yo,
That's not okay to say. You can't call someone that, right?
Okay.
And like, I mean, I said it once because I thought maybe it wasn't a slur, but it might actually be like not even a PC thing to talk about within this context.
I mean, I
So
feel like any
I
person-
preemptively apologize, internet. I'm so glad I didn't give my last name. I'm so sorry.
Okay, now where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Where do I see myself 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Fucking overdosing on heroin in a ditch somewhere in Woodstock, New York. No. I see myself as a fucking college student smoking weed about 10 feet away from that ditch somewhere near Woodstock, New York. You know?
What are you going to be studying?
What am I gonna be studying? Shit, I don't know. Sociology.
that's
Fucking
fine.
maybe I'll fucking waste a bunch of money on tuition, get a philosophy degree. Who knows?
No full scholarship?
Bro, look at me. Look at me. You think I'm gonna get a full fucking scholarship? I don't actually have to because my father works at NYU.
Oh,
So I
well,
get
you're
free
chilling.
tuition there,
Yeah.
so I'm fucking chilling.
You
I
have free
wanna go to
tuition?
what?
Free tuition, you
Yeah,
said?
because my dad's a fucking doctor at NYU hospital.
I thought they gave like decreased tuition. That's just
I
like
mean, if you're lower down on the totem pole, but my dad's like
dang,
Got seniority.
some shit.
that's crazy. I
Yeah.
had no idea that they did that.
It's very valid. I also have free tuition to Columbia if I decide to, change who I am completely and
Wait, how?
start studying. My mother works at
Oh, that's
place there.
okay. You just got every fucking person at every college ever.
Yeah, bro. I have a grandpa who works at Yale and a grandma who works at Harvard, and I can just they just make like a hefty donation of like I don't know, like $1 million, and then I get it. It's fine.
Exactly.
I don't actually have a college fund for paying tuition. It's more for just like when it's my year to get in, building a new wing for the research library.
5 years from now, I don't know. Probably try to study political science somewhere in the city at whatever university. Ideally a CUNY because I know those are cheaper.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Ideally something like
you
that.
get OD fucking whatchamacallits if you live in New York too. Just fucking what is the word that I'm thinking of?
You a political
Discounts.
person?
That there should not be any thought that goes into that. He's
No, yeah, I'm
political.
I'm political. I was at the Bernie rally last year in Queens, in Queensbridge, which was it was a really cool experience, I would say. It was like
What
my
what are you
first time.
what are you seeing for the future of American politics?
I
Because
see.
some people say the storming of the Capitol is the beginning of a new era right now.
Yeah, I would.
No,
I would.
it's the end of an old era.
It's
think
the
so?
end of an old era in a
For
way,
sure.
but it's also the continuation of
Let me-
other things.
So you think it's the end of the
I do.
rebellion?
I have to,
The far-right
to go.
rebellion.
I think it's the beginning of it. I have to go, but here's what I will say. Watch Get Me Roger Stone. It's on Netflix. It's a documentary. This motherfucker 100%, and not 100%. I think that Roger Stone fucking orchestrated that shit. Because if you look at the shit that he's done in the past, he orchestrated the people charging the fucking the voting polls during the 2000 election, which was the only reason why Gore didn't win, and probably the only reason why we're here today. And he did the same shit in these fucking elections. He had people fucking storm I think it might have been 2016, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong year, whatever. He thought he was losing, he had them fucking storm the polling, their supporters storm the polling places to stop people, to stop democracy. And that's just what they were doing. They were stopping a vote, a democratic vote that was trying to help this fucking country. It's bullshit. It's Roger Stone. And that motherfucker is, Trump already fucking pardoned him. He's definitely done fucking crimes in between when Trump pardoned him and now. He's going to fucking jail if there's any justice in this country, which there isn't. That motherfucker's going to live a long, happy, rich life on fucking Epstein's Island.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Alright, bro.
Peace, bro. Nice
Peace.
to see you. Nice to meet you.
All right. The future of American politics.
Alright, good luck, bro.
Future of American politics.
You don't think that because people are talking about civil war? What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I don't know.
There's been people, like I said before, there's survivalists. They're buying the
Yeah.
survival packs.
Frankly, my thoughts are as follows. In the past, we've been able to make judgments based on how things have historically turned out. And this is, in my opinion at least, or in my analysis, the first time in American history that there's no way we can predict what's about to happen.
Are you optimistic or pessimistic?
I don't think that there's any use in being either. I think that we're going to see how it turns out, and we'll either react in accordance to a negative outcome, and we'll either rejoice in the event of a positive one. But generally speaking, I think that we have to prepare for the worst, but live our lives as if, you know, as if we're under no threat. I feel like actually that's not true at all. Scratch that.
What about you?
We have to protest this shit. It's bullshit.
We definitely have to be aware of like what's going on and everything, and to not stay unvigilant, but for sure it bears no use in consistently like being nihilistic to the point of because of like whatever actions go on to the point of like anti-electoralism or just like complete like loss of faith in anything in terms of like you know, voting and all that, because that's like the one thing we have in order to you know, combat any sort of actions like these, I would say.
Okay, vaccines. Your thoughts? Vaccine.
I don't know if there's any like thoughts like it's just like it's a vaccine.
You gonna take it?
Yeah, when everyone else is whenever they're like
When's
priority
available to
list.
you?
Exactly.
You're
When
gonna
the
take it.
priority
You
list
trust
is-
it?
Yeah.
Okay. You?
100%. Take
You
the
trust
vaccine.
it?
I trust the vaccine, of course. There's scientific evidence to prove the fact that it's not going to give you autism, people. Come on now. Vaccines are specific. I'm not sure the exact composition of the vaccine that they're developing at the moment, but vaccines are generally designed such that your body's exposed to a very limited or, you know, deactive form of the virus so that you're able to produce like an immune response. And there are scientists that are making it their top priority to ensure that you're going to be safe taking the vaccine. So I would say take it if you can, but make sure to give priority to your elders and your sickly and your medical officials, of course. But generally speaking, take the vaccine. You're not going to die. Unless you
take
die,
flu
in which
shots as
case,
well?
I'm sorry. Sorry?
You take flu shots as well?
I take flu shots as well, yes.
What about you?
Yeah.
So you'll take all the vaccines?
Yeah. It'd be an abject throw to not.
Yeah, but I learned that word today, actually. Abject.
Abject.
Yeah.
I've been just on the abject way basically.
Have I asked you this question? How did you become friends?
We became friends in middle school.
Bro, it was over. I think it was over Overwatch.
Yeah.
Not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is. We're 13-year-olds in middle school. You're playing a lot of video games, and we went to the same school, but we really met, you know,
Games brought
just
you
playing
together.
games, yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. And then and then we just like
It was a
overall.
bit of a revolution.
Yeah.
How did you spend the lockdown? Did you make use of that time or no?
You know what? I've had so many people talking to me about, oh, the quarantine was this, lockdown was that. I had like a massive like personal like renaissance sort of in a way. I was telling Koll and what was your friend's name again? Judah, right? That's right.
Yeah.
As I was telling Koll and Judah earlier, I grew like 3 inches. Like I became exposed to a lot
Were you
more.
eating healthier? What happened?
Yeah, I was working out more. I was eating just way better, more consistently, sleeping a little bit more,
No junk food?
less junk food. Oh my god, they're back. Whatever. I would say, however, the main thing for me that was of use was like an artistic exploration, I'd say. I started researching the works of Basquiat and Bukowski, the poet, who my friend showed me his work. And I'd say, generally speaking, I think that exploring this art and these, you know, MF Doom, like these lyrical artists, that just broadened my horizons. And I really took a lot of their art to heart, and it helped me get through it, I'd say.
Glad to hear you weren't just sitting around getting drunk.
Yeah.
How about
Well,
you?
4%, no, 2%.
Yeah. For me, I did not improve as much as I'd like to, or as much as I would have liked to. But in terms of what I personally did during quarantine, I got super into music theory, and learning about music in general, like the science behind it, the history behind it, and it's been super like eye-opening because it's given me like the passion to start creating like my own. And like, for example, I made I fully like just composed like I don't know, like a 2-minute piece or something that I then just like mixed, and that was like my first experience actually creating music that wasn't like from something pre-generated. So that was super fun, and since then I made like a remix of another song that required like that because I rearranged it with this like composition. So yeah, that was super like like fun to be able to like explore a whole new thing that I was not able to do before. But other than that, not too like crazy, I guess.
That's awesome. What motivates you in life?
What motivates me? What motivates me in life, I would say, is reaching the end state. I always find myself in a creative rut or a feeling of paralysis on my work. And in those moments, I always remind myself of the state of being an old, like, wise man just living in Europe, like, with his kids are grown up, living their lives. Maybe he lives with a wife, maybe he doesn't. But that feeling of satisfaction in knowing that I've lived a life in which I worked hard and achieved what I wished to achieve and succeeded by my standards, I'm motivated by that sort of knowing that is something that I will eventually reach along my road in life.
What motivates you?
I'd say in life I've had this like constant fear, I guess, of just like not being satisfied with my life once I die, and just like being on my deathbed and being like, fuck,
Yeah.
that was not fun. But like one day I was just like walking back from school, and I was thinking to myself, like, if I like radically improved the lives of like as many people as I like could during my life, and then I'm like on my deathbed, and then like having known that fact, I feel like at that point I made some sort of realization that, like, you know, that actually was fulfilling, you know. So I think that's gonna be like a motivator for me. But I guess in terms of the more practical side of that, I would just say like probably like if I start like a family and like have and just like acquire generational wealth that my kids can like inherit.
Assets or whatever.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so like, because then I can make an impact on like generations to come.
It's actually what you were just saying to me the other day. The other day we had a conversation about where we want to be when we're like 20, right? And our thoughts were like, all right, we're gonna get all of our friends and we're gonna have like this apartment or a series of apartments that we all like split, and it's like 3 of us to an apartment in the Lower East Side, and we're all gonna like split the rent so it's like manageable, and we're just gonna live life like as fucking 20-year-olds on the Lower East Side, like partying, getting drunk, doing whatever. And we were saying, okay, but you know, we might like split up for college, which may confuse things. And Koll was actually telling me about the fact that he didn't really want to leave the city for college because he wanted to like establish his empire here and get to know people and like just establish his roots, which I sort of I understand, but I feel like life is more fluid than that. I think that if we end up somewhere, then it's meant to be that way. So I'm fine going anywhere as long as we end up there. You know?
All right. Is Facebook still relevant?
Not for me. For some people, I'm sure it is.
Why not? What turns you off about it?
Personally, you know, you have all this stuff with data mining and privacy issues, but frankly, we're pretending that this issue is exclusive to Facebook. Every service we use is doing the exact same thing. TikTok is almost surpassing Facebook to the extent that it's you know, taking your data. You have Instagram, you have Snapchat, you have all these like major services that we also use, and we like pretend to have this like objection towards only Facebook, which makes no sense to me. So like generally
So it must
speaking,
be the platform itself then.
yeah, that's true.
Is it just boring, or what is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's just
Or your friends aren't on it?
yeah, it's a combination of those
It's
factors.
a boomer
My
hellhole.
friends aren't there. It's like a hive of weird, like malicious ideas, and generally speaking, like the UI is like super weird, and I don't like looking at it. So generally speaking, it's more like just the fact that I never had a reason to get an account. Like I got Instagram, for example, because my friend was like, "Yo, like let me DM you there," and I was like, "All right, makes sense. You don't have some way to contact me. Otherwise, I'll get it."
Facebook?
To add on, if anyone's seen like The Social Dilemma,
Oh my God, yeah.
It's just like perfectly outlines how how all these companies, all these big tech companies, are just have information on you that isn't necessarily used in a malicious way, like to get, like, for example, like, I don't know, for something like extravagant, like getting a hit on you. It's like that's not going to go to that extreme. It's just like they have these profiles on you through, and then through the system that we've established, like as a offshoot of capitalism, like surveillance capitalism,
Yeah.
where they have this, where everyone, where your data has become a commodity.
Exactly.
So
Oh, for the ads and stuff.
yeah, exactly, because then you are a customer no matter what,
Right. And you're
whether or
not.
not you consent to it.
It's not even like you're a customer, but your attention is
Your attention.
the commodity. Is what really scares me. Is that they're developing all these like algorithms and applications, I guess, that literally like work underneath the surface to consume the most amount of our time as possible and alter what we think is what we want to do. I mean, they alter what we think like our next thing is gonna be into like, oh, I should get this product. Like, we're no longer. I mean, frankly, in a couple years, I believe that we'll be past like the era of free thought. I mean, our literal mentality is being subverted by these like subroutines and like algorithms, and it's terrible and it's terrifying. But it's not specific to Facebook. Is the key message I'd like to, I guess, just portray here, is that it's everywhere, and in our modern society, there's no escaping it, which is really terrifying.
What apps do you use?
I use, as I was saying earlier, I use Instagram to an extent. I recently deleted TikTok, not necessarily for any, reasons relating to the social dilemma or surveillance capitalism, but more just because it took up too much of my time, and I decided that it wasn't worth, just absorbing so much of my attention.
You were binge watching?
Yeah, exactly. So, I just deleted TikTok, but Instagram I'm on, Snapchat I'm still on. That's really it, really. Yeah.
I deleted TikTok for like a week, but then I was too weak, so I reinstalled it, which was
You couldn't resist.
yeah, it was a sad point in my life. But so I still use TikTok, sadly. Twitter, I'm on Twitter like way too much. I argue with so many people who.
Yeah, you get into some arguments. with people on
it's
Twitter.
just not worth. It's really not worth it, because these people are there to virtue signal and speak about whatever the fuck they like think is right without any evidence or whatever. But it is what it is. I really should not like waste too much of my time arguing with them, but I do. So yeah, in TikTok, Twitter, I guess sometimes Instagram, not too much though. Snapchat to an extent, and YouTube. Oh yeah, YouTube, which is like most of the time.
YouTube,
Yeah.
for sure. YouTube is like the #1 downfall
Yeah.
of life. I spent so much time on YouTube. That's another thing I'd say during quarantine that I really worked on, was honing my attention span. Like, I used to just like do a homework assignment. Let's say it's supposed to take you 30 minutes. It would take me like 4 hours, because I'd just be like, okay,
many
there's a sentence.
distractions.
Yeah, what's on my YouTube page? And I'm like, oh, that video is cool. 7 minutes. It's pretty short.
I fucking
Watch
do that
it.
all the time.
Oh shit, that next one looks so sick. It's only 15 minutes. I have 15 minutes in my life.
Yeah.
Watch it. Hour goes by, 2 hours go by. You're like, all right, I should get back to homework. This is really distracting me.
Then you pop
And you
in
do
another
like 2
sentence.
sentences.
And then you're back
like,
on the YouTube grind.
you're the way that our like I guess just like the way that our like internal reward systems, about how we reward like instant gratification, I guess I'll put it under that umbrella of like the way that we think, like the way that how much work we've done correlates to how satisfied we should feel, has become like so drastically like separated from what it used to be. I feel like there were times, and then over the quarantine, I'd say I definitely made massive strides in like separating that from me like working diligently. And I like adopted a new schedule very recently that focused on me like doing all my work before I have any free time, and I've just been going into it like cold turkey, and it's been working. I've been feeling a lot more satisfied.
You made lemonade out of lemon.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Now, next question. What kind of videos do you watch?
Videos. I watch various things. I watch like documentaries, like mini documentaries about like skateboarders or like artists, or
Pranks.
yeah, less so nowadays, but definitely back in the day it was pranks all day, every day. But yeah, I mean, various games that I'm playing, it's fun to keep updated and informed.
PewDiePie.
Yeah, for sure, back in the day as well.
Is he dead now or what?
He's not dead, but I feel
Nobody's
like
really paying attention to him.
people are paying attention to him, but I feel like personally my taste has like matured a little bit. So he's
You grow out of it.
a little bit, yeah.
He's for kids.
I watch a lot of political content from generally pretty left-wing commentators.
Who are some left-wing commentators? So I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. So I guess a prime one would be this guy Vosh. He's like this streamer, but he's like he does like leftist commentary, which it's not like he's just very smart. Some others I guess are Sam Cedar. He has a radio show. Smart people. But yeah, aside from politics, I watch a lot of skate videos.
Yeah.
They're just like fun to watch.
Illegal civilization,
Yeah.
like a lot of stuff like that. Illegal civ.
Yeah. Also, yeah, gaming content, and half my recommended page is just filled with like clips of streamers on Twitch, and I keep clicking on them even though it's just like I should not. But yeah.
Yeah, also definitely like musical artists. I listen to a lot of like YouTube, music videos and stuff like that, and just new songs. I don't personally make videos. My friend is gradually getting into filmmaking,
Oh yeah.
and he's doing some really good work, and he's putting together some really cool stuff. And one day you'll hear his name, Julian Young. One day, I'm telling you right now, you'll hear him.
What kind of videos does he make?
He, at the time being, he's sort of just becoming, yeah, he's producing these exposés on like just the minute details of like life in the city, and like nightlife and how like just teenagers, I guess, in general and their antics. But he's moving on to bigger and better things, and I want to get his name out there. Julian Young, he's gonna be big.
He's gonna be fucking massive. There's no way he's not.
Do you make videos?
I made videos a lot in 7th grade, the beginning of 7th grade, just like gaming videos. It was fun. I made this one
Oh
video.
my god!
I made this.
Wait, plug the channel.
I like
Oh, it's still
Everyone,
around?
run up the video. Discord Koll remix. He's
Extended,
getting
yeah.
cash off of this video.
I've made a solid, like in physical cash, around $52 now.
$52, baby.
Easy. No, but yeah, that was just a video that ended up blowing up for no reason, and that kind of like motivated me, realizing that I had like that I had a monetizable
Asset.
thing. Yeah, exactly.
Really quickly, because he's not gonna say it himself. How many views does that video have, buddy? I asked you, so you can be humble still.
Yeah, it's got like 1.1 or 2
1.1 or 1 to what?
million.
Million views, baby.
Wait, so what exactly was that content about?
Oh, okay. This is gonna be so nice.
This is when we shatter the bubble that is the $52.
So you know, like Skype.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's this app similar to it, but like more marketed towards gamers called Discord.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so this little call ringtone plays whenever someone calls you, and there was a remix that the company themselves made, so I just extended it for 10 minutes. And I was the first one to like upload an extended remix of that in like 2016 or whatever, so I got the views on that baby.
1.2 million, $52, baby.
What kind of positive responses have you gotten as a result of that? Has anyone reached out to you?
No one's like reached out. I mean,
1.1 million and no reaching out? That's
I mean, people
disappointing.
comment like, "Yo, that was crazy," or whatever, and that's like the extent of it. But yeah, I don't know, because now that I have that that asset, I guess that I can like monetize, I uploaded that remix that I was mentioning earlier and that composition, and I uploaded those because like I realized like, oh shit, like I can actually like I could theoretically like develop this if I wanted to. So hopefully in the future I would get positive reception to something I actually like create myself. But as of now, not really.
Do you think that built any kind of a reputation for yourself?
I mean, I'd hope so. I'd hope it would in the future. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever I decide to make, I hope that it is positive. Is positive content.
Who do you follow?
Like online?
Yeah.
I don't know, just like random like political commentators, certain streamers on Twitch. Yeah, that's like the extent of it.
Who do you follow?
I follow. Oh, I follow. I don't follow. Whatever. Who cares? I follow who I follow. I don't follow who I don't follow. You know what I mean?
What is your biggest accomplishment in life?
My biggest accomplishment in life,
Right.
I would say,
We can skip that if you want.
I wouldn't say skip, but postpone.
Okay, postpone. Biggest accomplishment in life, other than that 1.1 million.
Yeah.
Biggest accomplishment, I would say. I mean, it's like kind of like an ongoing project to kind of get my brother to a point in his life that he's like not to a point in his life that he feels fulfilled, because he has not had a job and he's like 23 now, and that's like that hasn't really worried me. That's been like consistently worrying me more and more as I grew up. So that's kind of like something that like if I can drive him to sort of go down a better path, not the one that like as opposed to the one that he's on right now, which is just like him just like out of sheer like laziness, not really doing anything, laziness and fear, not really doing anything. I hope that at some point I could get him to a point to where he personally feels fulfilled with his own life. So I've made like small amounts of progress in that over the years, but not really anything too substantial yet.
Sounds like you have some very strong family values.
Yeah, I guess it's despite the circumstances, I would say, yeah.
All right, let me ask you this.
Yep.
In terms of, well, let me ask you this. If you like a woman or
Yep.
girl, and she rejects you the first time, do you try again once you see her again or no?
Believe it or not,
Wait, chill.
no, we're chilling. Believe it or not, I am currently in the midst of an ongoing dilemma of the same nature.
Really?
There's this girl, whatever. I'm at this point where like,
She rejected you?
it was less rejection and more a mutual understanding that it wouldn't work out given the context. Because like we're still like best friends basically, but there was kind of a moment where it was kind of implied like we could maybe try it out, and it was kind of like it wouldn't be the best for the friend group and whatnot. So it was less of a rejection and more of like, I don't know, just it not working out.
But you haven't given up.
No, we're
So
in
you're
for the
gonna
long
keep
con,
trying.
baby. Yeah, love is something that I haven't like fully understood, just in my life, or I can't. Yeah, I mean that I just don't understand, and I'm trying to navigate it. But at the moment, my philosophy is that it's one of the main driving forces in life, and I'm not willing to give up on it so easily.
So you're gonna be persistent.
Less persistent and more, I would say, I mean, I don't really know, but I wouldn't say that persistent is the right word.
What about you? Girl turned you down.
Okay, well, I've had, I've like tried to, by the way, you can like set it down if you want, like, and then,
No.
because I just need to like move around shit. Since like 4th grade, there was this girl who I'd like liked for a while, and like I made that clear to her like multiple times, like past the initial point, and that was kind of like a stupid move, I guess. But no, now given that context, I would not like pursue again if there was a rejection.
Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How important is it the way you dress when you're trying to pick up girls?
I've never even like explicitly tried to pick up girls, so I wouldn't
same.
even know. And I've never really been like much of a fashion person either. Like I've never really cared too much about what I wear. I like, for example, like I never bought my own clothes. So yeah, I don't know.
Your thoughts on guys picking up girls in public spaces like this?
I guess just.
Is that like a good idea, or should you just like?
I mean, it's probably not a good idea, but it's also not necessarily like a bad thing inherently. It depends on how it's done, and as long as there's like no clear boundary that's broken, it's not like necessarily a bad thing. What's
Online dating. What are your thoughts?
Well.
I don't know.
Information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I apologize for the interruption,
Okay.
but I asked the lady at the end of that weird wagon what was going on. And I said, the guy at the front is ignoring me. Can you tell him to talk to me? And she goes, because he's in character. And she hands me this card that says, Voyeur, the windows of Toulouse. And apparently this is a live, immersive, theatrical experience.
Uh-huh.
So they are actually like doing like a little miniature play type thing, but like in the public
Do
sphere.
they get paid
It's actually
for it?
sick. I don't really understand.
It's sick, but I didn't understand.
Let's see what the back says. It says, Bated Breath Theater Company transforms the streets of Greenwich Village into Moulin Rouge à Paris. That's interesting.
I don't know, those types of things. I wish they would just like be like, yo, we're doing a play. It's like I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't. Yeah, I like it. It's a cool idea, but I hate the guy at the front.
Yeah, he's treason.
He sucks. If you see that guy, tell him I hate him.
So you say you had a conversation with him?
Less of a conversation and more of like a one-sided screaming match. I was like, yo, and he was like, nah.
He was ignoring you.
Yeah.
Okay, online dating. Did you already say what you wanted to
Yeah, I
say?
don't know. I don't like have.
You don't like it?
Yeah, it's not like necessarily like a good or bad thing. I'd say.
Online dating.
Online dating, if it works for you, it works. That's all I'll say. I'm too young to understand how any of it would work.
Don't they have a Yubo?
They do, but I'm not like at the point where I'm like trying to date just random kids. I feel like for me specifically, relationships are built on like very strong foundations. And not to say that you can't get like a strong foundation or like connection with someone on like a dating app, but for me, I feel like that would be a lot harder. Not to say that I understand it or like use them, but I feel like it would be harder for me to like reach that type of like very strong connection over like such a like a fluid medium. I don't know.
Too impersonal?
Yeah, or like it's really about the context you meet them in. I feel like, for example, my aunt and uncle, like they met at a gay bar, and that's just like this story that like they tell, and there was something specific about like the context in which they met that was like a bit peculiar and a little bit like flirty, and like this, like they just bonded over like this very specific like lifestyle and like dissent from the norm. And they, that's like, I feel like that's harder to get when you just like meet someone online. It's like match, go on a date. I don't know.
All right, no.
Avery,
Yo,
would you want to go back to just like the lobby and warm up? Because
Let's
my feet are
my
just
toes
like,
are gone.
they're gone.
Okay, now let's finish this thing up.
Yeah.
Okay. And we can run the Gmail.
You want to plug any social media?
My YouTube is Valkron, Valkron. If you sub and watch that video, that'd be that video that has 1 million views. That'd be great. That's easy money for me. And my Twitter is @Valkron57, same spelling.
Social media?
I would rather. Would it be?
Or shout outs if you don't want to do social media.
Well, would it be frowned upon to like give my email to like a public?
Yeah, well, to me or to the audience?
Like to the public. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
that wouldn't be a good idea, right?
Or Twitter, anything?
Because I
Discord?
want to give my email so people can reach out to me.
Okay, yeah. Give your email then.
I don't know. Is that like? I feel like that's not a good idea.
Email, it's fine.
Email's
They
fine.
just like message you and you don't respond.
All right.
Well, who's gonna see this anyway, honestly?
I mean, people might see this.
yeah.
Not like this deep into it.
Who knows? My point is, if you want to contact me, AveryGDP@gmail.com. I'm gonna be writing a book at some point. It's a passion project I've been working on. I might never publish it. I might publish it, but I just want you guys to have like a way to talk to me if you want to if you want to talk
If
about
you
the things I've
vibe
said today,
with this man.
because I'm very interested in it, and I'd love to, get more of an exchange of ideas. So
Constructive criticism.
yeah.
Shout outs.
Shout out to Julian Young. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my dad. Shout out to my little brother. Shout out to Divine Fate. And shout out to Koll.
Shout outs.
And shout out to Lee, of course.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to, definitely Julian Young. And my brother, my mom, my dad, or Abba and Ima, I should say.
Ima!
And,
We call his mom Ima because that's mom in Hebrew.
Exactly.
And you can call her Ima as well.
Everyone can. And shout out to Avery.
Thanks, man.
Shout out to yourself.
Do I have your permission to put this on the internet?
Yep.
Permission?
Yes, but if it's in your best judgment to take out my email, then yeah, go for it.
No, I'll leave it in there. I mean, if you want.
I mean, like if people are like, you know what I mean. It's like
most
these
of the
things are
people
always
who
a
watch
two-way
this
street.
are probably going to be like-minded people anyway.
All right, that's good. My point is
not
like
gonna be
in
some-
life,
Uh-huh.
if you feel any discretion to cut out anything I've said, go for it. I don't really
I don't
mind.
think you're going to get any haters on here.
That's fine. I don't really